When you control your own playoff destiny, no game is more important than the one being played this week. We dive into Washington's matchup with the Cleveland Browns. And Washington will have a new man under center this weekend. Carson Wentz joins us to discuss returning to the starting lineup for the first time since October. Plus, it has been over a month since Washington's last win. What will it take for Washington to earn a victory against Cleveland? We share our keys to victory on the final command center of 2022. And welcome into Command Center. Julie Donaldson, Logan, Paulsen, and Santana and everybody. This is our final show of 2022. The year just absolutely flew by. I don't know how it does that because it's also an incredibly long year. When you look back on it,
Right.
Logan, it stands out.
I mean, the thing that stands out to me is getting on this show. You know, I wasn't doing this last year in the full-time capacity, so to be here with you guys is pretty special.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, I love it. That was a good one. To me, you know, just looking back at this team, how we started, and then finding that, you know, I don't know what it was we found in the middle part, but we just found some energy and got some wins. And now we towards the end. And normally it doesn't pan out well for us, but it's a new year. It's finna be a new year. Hopefully they end this year, you know, like they started the middle of the year.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Meaningful football in December, and of course, meaningful shows. Very proud of the direction this show has gone. So let's get straight to it. And it is on Sunday. Washington taking on the Cleveland Browns for first of two final games this season. The Browns enter this week's matchup as one of 8 teams already eliminated from playoff contention, but that does not mean they should be taken lightly as they come to town with the league's 10th ranked offense. Now, while Washington is looking for their first win in over a month.
They may not be playing for a playoff spot right now, but they are a very good football team. Their defense is playing really sound right now. They have stars really all over the field, offense and defense. And, you know, we just want to be efficient when we get the ball in our hands, I think. You know, you don't never know how many drives you're going to get in the game, so we got to make the ones we get count. And that means when we're in those got-to-have-it situations, whether it's third or fourth and short, in the red zone, you got to be able to capitalize if we want to be able to be successful this week.
We want to win both these, obviously, to get into the playoffs, and that's a part of it. And I think that's also part of the reason, you know, behind it. I mean, the last 3 games were 0-2-1, and so looking for a little something extra to give us a little something to get over the hump, and it's important, especially with these last 2 games that we want to win.
Time to go inside the matchup presented by FanDuel. This fantasy football season, get more ways to win with FanDuel. So let's get into some key matchups that are going to take place here on Sunday. And I want to start off with, we just heard from Terry McLaurin. Like, he is a huge part of this offense and the success. And of course, his numbers went up a little bit more with Taylor Heineke back there, but he's got Carson Wentz now this time, and he's got a former teammate in Denzel Ward he's going up against, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, I always get excited when guys in college that went to college together and they get to see each other every day in practice get to play against each other, because that matchup just becomes so much more storied, right? Yeah. It's like he knows what he does in practice. He's seen it live in living color. And so who's going to get the better of this matchup? 2 guys who came to Ohio State the same year, and both are playing really high-level football at the moment. I love this type of matchup, especially the familiarity it brings.
And then one of the things I want to say about that, I remember those days when I played against the Mike Rumps and the Philip Buchanans. You always get up for that because you understand, man, this guy knows me more than I know myself. Yeah. He saw me more than any other guy that I'm playing against. So I'm pretty sure that Terry's going to sleep well, and Denzel might not sleep well that night.
Terry always says he enjoys going up against former teammates, and of course against somebody who's one of the best in the league at their craft, and that would be Ward. So it would be a good test for that one. But if we get to a little bit further into this, Nick Chubb, Santana.
Yeah, baller.
Nick Chubb scares me.
I mean, it scares me too, but I think one of the things that stands out is every week I think our defense has been, you know, put under pressure to say, hey, you're going to get the best back in this league, or one of the best backs this week. And I think they stood to the challenge. You know, they stood strong in the paint. And Nick Chubb comes in, he's ranked 3rd in the league right now with 1,300-something yards and 5th in the NFL. Our defense have a tough challenge, but I think they're going to stand strong and do what it needs to take.
Yeah, and I do think it's also important to recognize that they are changing their offense a little bit. You know, Nick Chubb was the feature early on. Now they're kind of shifting to Deshaun Watson, right? He's becoming a priority in terms of the quarterback run stuff. Nick Chubb, down for down, has become a little bit less efficient, kind of to prop up Deshaun, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, as a passer and as a runner, they're trying to emphasize what he does. They invested a lot of money. They want to see him go.
And he's starting to get a little bit of that rust off, so don't
Yes.
let this be the breakout game for Deshaun
Not this
Watson
game,
to
baby.
look like the guy that got that huge mega contract as well. We're going to have to protect Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
and you
indeed.
have to, because you have Myles Garrett coming for you, Logan.
I mean, Myles Garrett is like the freakiest human being I've ever seen. When you watch the film, right, you had Nick Bosa last week, who is a barbarian when it comes to rushing the passer, and you get Myles Garrett this week, who is maybe a better athlete. I think his down-to-down effort is not quite as good, but if you want a guy to rush the passer, you're going to make one in the lab, he would look like Myles Garrett. So what are they going to do? And it's not just Leno and Lucas. It comes down to, Scott Turner. What's your plan? Chips, play action, all that kind of thing. They need a plan for him.
And Santana, they have the 8th best ranked pass defense in the league as well. So.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that stand out to me is like, okay, are they the 8th best ranked pass defense because guys are not throwing on them because they can't stop the run, or is because they're just shutting guys down?
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to see. We have Carson Wentz back. One of the things that I want to see is because we've been having so much trouble in the red zone. But I think when Carson was there, we was getting touchdowns.
Yeah.
So will he be effective in the red zone for this offense this second time around, or will their defense stop us from doing what we think we can do well with Carson?
Well, Carson is the starter for the first time since Week 6, where he led Washington to a 12-7 victory over the Bears. In his 7 appearances this season, he's completed a shade over 62% of his passes for 1,600 yards to go along with 11 touchdowns to Santana's point and 6 interceptions. And he caught up with our captain, London Fletcher, after practice to discuss his return to the lineup.
Carson, so Coach Rivera here announced that you would be the starting quarterback this weekend against the Cleveland Browns. How does that feel, knowing that you're preparing to start another game against the Browns?
It's exciting. It's exciting, obviously, personally, but I think it's exciting for this team. We know where we're at. It's been a very up and down year, but we know where we're at, and we know what's at stake these last 2 weeks, and we got a big one in front of us right now this week. And so for me, personally, it's exciting, and step in and just try and distribute and make plays when asked upon.
How was it? How big was it for you to be able to get those reps against the 49ers, having missed so much time in terms of just getting some of the rust off and being able to have some game reps going into this game?
Yeah, I thought it was huge. I thought it was big for me mentally as well. Just coming out there and just, especially going no huddle right away, I had to go score and just no time to think, just go play and just kind of feel the rhythm of the game again. And like you said, it's been a while from the injury and then other things going on. So I thought that was big for me mentally for my confidence going forward.
As a veteran quarterback, you've been around for a number of years, but still this is your first year in this system. Were you able to kind of look at the offense from a different perspective, during your time, healing from injury and things like that?
Without a doubt, yeah. I mean, I'm still, obviously, when I was out, I'm still involved in the meetings. I'm still a part of everything, but I'm not coming out here and going through it. So it allows me to see it a little bit differently and ask questions and really try and understand the whys and everything. And so I think that definitely helped me understand the bigger picture within this offense. And I think that'll help and bode well for me down the stretch here.
The offense is a lot different kind of than what it was when you were starting quarterback, a lot more run-oriented, having Brian Robinson healthy. The offensive line is a lot healthier. How do you feel like that will aid you in just, as you start against the Browns?
Yeah, I mean, a quality run game is always a huge help and confidence booster for a quarterback, and not just quarterback, but for the entire O-line, the entire offense, to be able to physically kind of impose our will up front like I believe our guys have done and are capable of doing, I think helps the passing game tremendously. And I look forward to seeing that up close and personal. Now, like you said, it's kind of the identity's kind of changed throughout the season, so I look forward to kind of being a part of it and seeing how that opens up the passing game within it.
Yeah, you mentioned the passing game. Part of that passing game is the receivers, and you got 3 dynamic receivers, obviously with Jahan, Curtis, and Terry. What's it going to be like for you, and is it difficult getting that chemistry back with those guys, that you had prior to getting injured?
I mean, I think the off-season workouts, the training camp, all of those moments, make a huge difference, to miss time, but be able to come back and just try and pick up where we left off. It's never going to be perfect. You're always going to miss some here and there, but I think those times, the moments in the offseason and training camp will bode well for us in terms of chemistry and stuff. And those guys are playing at such a high level, I think, and they've all kind of complemented each other well, and I think their confidence has grown throughout the season. And so seeing those guys compete and the way they're playing is fun to watch, and now I'm fun to just distribute it to them.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I can't wait to see you guys and see you out there Sunday going against the Cleveland Browns, my hometown team, but I will not be rooting for those Browns. You know who I'll be rooting for on Sunday.
Appreciate you.
Game day details are delivered by Paisanos, where you get buy one, get one large pizzas on Commanders game day and free toppings for extra points on Monday. Order online at paisanospizza.com. Well, the Commanders will take on the Browns at FedEx Field Sunday with kickoff scheduled for 1 p.m. Washington has won 3 of the last 4 meetings with Cleveland. You can watch the game on Fox, or if you want to listen on radio, you can catch Bram Weinstein, London Fletcher, and myself on Big 100 or streaming on the iHeartRadio app. Now, coming up, Washington is preparing to face another elite running back in Nick Chubb this weekend. We go behind enemy lines to learn a little more about this week's opponent.
So we come from 2, I guess you can call it prestige universities when it comes to especially football.
Yeah.
University of Miami, man, when you speak of the U, you talk about the ball players.
Right.
You talk about the guys that carried over from what we did in college or the collegiate level to the pros. Name some of the guys, whether you played with or before you, that set the tone at a high level at Penn State.
I'm gonna start with one that I know very well. You know, he's making a name for himself, and that's Michael Paulsen. Man, like.
So I ask you this question before you go on.
Yeah.
Was he what we see now then?
I'm telling you, you know how like you play with certain guys and you see certain stuff at practice that people don't get to see on game day, where they're just doing freakish things. Like.
So he was that boy like
he
that?
was crazy.
Wow.
From the start though.
Wow.
Freshman year, he was crazy. So I'm gonna go the year before I got there. A guy that I knew real well, played against him in high school, Saquon Barkley.
Ooh.
Tough.
Yeah,
man.
he's a beast.
He's a beast. Like,
they talk about his thighs all the time.
Crazy.
Man.
Crazy.
Got some tree trunks down there, don't he?
Man, I remember I got to Penn State in 2018. In our weight room, we have like records, and then you look at the overall history. And he's top 3 in every category.
Wow.
Linemen, receivers, like he's up there with everybody. So just like, I feel like that really tells the caliber of player he really was. A guy who really laid the blueprint for me, KJ Hamler.
KJ Hamler, we just spoke about him.
Man, he was electric. Like when you talk about college football and electric guys who could take it the distance every time they touch it, that was him. You know what I'm saying? Like.
It's crazy because we all play with guys that you can say, okay, they made it to the next level.
Right.
But that don't necessarily mean that these guys was just so dominant.
Exactly.
Like meaning like they could just do no wrong.
Yeah.
Off the rip, came in with me, my class, Ed Reed.
Okay, yeah,
Ed Reed.
that's a good one to start
He's
off.
a professional Hall of Famer. Cause you know he's a Hurricane Hall of Famer. Before that year, the year before me, Adrian James.
Okay, yeah.
Man, it's crazy. I can tell endless stories about EJ. EJ was not starting when I got there, but he was a true sophomore. And I remember my first game ever dressing, we played Baylor. First game of the season, the student body killing me. They just getting on me. And EJ, he got his helmet, but he ain't playing. He like, Tanner, so come here. He told me to come by him. And he like, man, when I get in the game, they gonna feel me. And I'm sitting there listening to him, but he was giving me so much good game throughout the whole training camp that I couldn't do nothing but just take in everything he was telling me because I saw him play the year before as a freshman.
Right.
So I know he can play. He
can ball.
like, bro, when I get in, it's gonna be a wrap. And lo and behold, this dude in front of him got hurt. The man got in there 2 touchdowns, 100-something yards. That's when
that was his dude.
Adrian James became to be known in the Big East.
Right.
I remember Mike Shanahan, when he coached here, he sat back there one day, I'm catching punts.
Yeah.
He said, man, did you play with Nate Webster? I say, Coach, you don't know. Me and this man we went to elementary school together.
For real?
I say, he was a grown man in elementary. I'm gonna say Shockey. Jeremy Shockey was just that dude. Like, he was that bad.
What made him so special?
One, he could run. He wasn't as big as he was when he got to the league. Like if you saw him in the league, he looked like he gained a lot of weight. He was about this big.
For real. Right.
You know what I mean? Like he came in with nothing but mouth.
Yep.
You almost said, hey, you from Miami, because the way you talk and shit, like, you deserve to be here. But I saw him hit the weight room hard that year, and when I saw him put the weight on, the confidence grew even more.
Right.
And he just he had no bad plays. When you come from good schools, good to have backgrounds like we have, Penn State, you have to take pride in being one of those guys.
Exactly.
And saying, now I'm on this level, and I can really put myself in the same category with some of those guys who made it as well.
Yep.
Do not miss Command Center Game Day Live, the official pregame show of the Washington Commanders. We're live on the air starting 2 hours before kickoff, so that is 11 a.m. on Sunday. And you can watch on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. Then after the game, don't miss Command Center Postgame Live for reaction analysis and interviews with head coach Ron Rivera and players. You can also catch that on YouTube. Take command of your game days. Now, for Washington to make the playoffs, it's pretty simple. Win the next 2 games and you are in. And of course, up next is the 6-9 Cleveland Browns. And they have the 5th best rushing attack in the league, so their success is through the run game. But if you can hold them under 125 rushing yards a game, they are 0-6. So for more on the Browns, let's go behind enemy lines with our senior writer, Zach Selby.
Thanks, Julie. And with me, I have Anthony Poisal of ClevelandBrowns.com. Anthony, I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Obviously, Browns are eliminated from playoff contention. What has the atmosphere been like in the locker room this week?
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of disappointment and just frustration with how the season has gone. The expectation before the season was to be able to make the playoffs and be in a position in December where you were able to make a playoff run. But, a slow start to the season, a very slow start to the season where they got to 3-7 at one point, really made it hard for them to make that possible after their bye week. And now just with 2 games to play, it's, the big message that everybody has been saying is, we're going to find out who in this locker room loves football as much as they say they do. It's obviously very hard to kind of continue pushing when the playoffs are out of sight and you kind of lose that main goal that you had before the season. But with 2 games left, they're just looking to kind of build some momentum into next season, try and leave a good lasting impression into the offseason and kind of end the year on a positive note. And obviously it starts this week with a game against the Commanders, who are still in the playoff chase. And, they're kind of taking a little bit of pride in having an opportunity to maybe play spoiler to the Commanders as well.
What's one factor you think that will just ultimately decide this weekend's game?
Yeah, I think it's really all going to be about just how well Deshaun plays and how much improvement, I should say, that he'll be able to make. Again, I just go back to the fact that they've scored just 3 touchdowns in 4 starts with him, and it's only been 1 touchdown a game. He didn't throw a passing touchdown last week. They obviously would like that to change this week, and they really just need to see some growth in the whole offense. And I keep saying it, just finding a way to put points and showing that Deshaun is improving on the scoreboard. That's the biggest thing, because it's not going to matter what the defense does if the offense isn't able to score points. That's the whole reason why they traded for Deshaun Watson, is they wanted to elevate their offense. And there have been improvements. He's been throwing better balls. He's been showing better footwork, better command of the offense. But ultimately, you got to score points, and that's the big thing this week is finding a way to score touchdowns.
Ring in the new year with the Washington Commanders. The Commanders host the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, January 1st at 1 p.m. at FedEx Field for their fan appreciation game, featuring tons of giveaways. Plus, they are honoring the legendary Hogs. Coach Joe Gibbs will be the honorary captain for the game, and the team mascot will be revealed as well. Tickets start at just $50. Visit commanders.com/tickets to get yours today. And yes, the team will be revealing their new mascot on Sunday, and this graphic has been dropped on social media, teasing the release. It's all sponsored by Pepsi Zero Sugar. So with the purchase of any concession item for the entire game, fans can receive 12-ounce Pepsi products for only 99 cents. That is while supplies last. It should be a great day. Now, coming up, with the postseason still in play, the Commanders are hoping to end their 2-game losing streak when they take the field against Cleveland. We share our keys to earning a victory when we return. Time now for our keys to winning, presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast with fast play games from the Maryland Lottery. So Cleveland has not won in Washington, D.C. since 1988. Granted, that's just 3 losses, but still we would like to keep that losing streak going. Logan, how does that happen?
Yeah, I think the first thing for me is keeps Kevin Stefanski off schedule. They want to run the football, Tana. They want to run the football to set up play action. Over the last 4 weeks since Deshaun Watson's taken the helm, they've been much less efficient running the football. They've gotten to less play action shots. Keep that going. Keep them out of what they want to do and keep them away from those big plays, because if they get going, they have some playmakers that can hurt you.
I think it's simple for me. The whole talk this week
I
has
love
been
this
about,
one, by the way. Love it.
the quarterbacks.
Yep.
Who's going to do what, or why we shouldn't have changed this guy. You're right. We might have our mixed views and our opinions, but it doesn't matter. This team is built to go out here and be able to dominate regardless of who's at the helm. We have Wentz at the helm now. Just win the game regardless.
Just win the game. I love that, man. That's exactly right. Block out the noise. So take advantage of the middle of their defense. Their middle linebackers, they're on like their third string middle linebacker. Their defensive tackles, they're young, they're talented, they're not very good at stopping the run. Run right at these dudes. Get that soft middle and take advantage of it, because that's what you want to do, right? Yeah. Get those running backs, whoever it is, B-Rob, Jonathan Williams, who's ever healthy, get them in there, attack that group.
When we had that stretch of games where we was winning, we took the ball away.
I love it, Tana. I love it. Here we are.
Win the turnover battle. When we was winning, we took the ball away. These guys right here, this guy in particular, he was taking the ball away. If we want to win this game, we have to win the turnover battle. Last 3 games, I believe we had 5 turnovers and only took the ball away for like twice, I believe.
Right.
So we have to win that area.
Totally
and
agree.
Have a better chance.
Totally agree. Help him out. So this is it. Come to your point. Don't put too much pressure on Carson's plate. Scott, keep it simple. Keep it straightforward. Defense, help him out. Put him in a good position to be successful. Julie, what do you think?
I like it. Sounds like a recipe for success, because we know that is exactly what has to happen at FedEx Field. This team must get the win. That's how you're going to do it. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching our final show of 2022. We'll see you next year for a new one.